Welcome to today's Front Porch. Very special show today, and I appreciate you joining us. Our old friend, Congressman Howard Coble. Howard, you're looking good. Let's see now. You've been in office now 6-7 weeks. How long have you been?
2.5 decades, Willie. I've been will it be 25 years at the end of this year?
Wow. You must enjoy it.
Well, not unlike you, Willie, and not unlike most people, I like most of what I do. I don't know that anybody likes everything he does, but I like the great majority of the tasks that I have, and I've very much enjoyed representing Davidson County that entire time. And of course, I don't have the whole county now, but at one time, you may remember, when I was first elected, only 3 counties in the 6th District, Alamance, Guilford, and Davidson, in their entirety.
Now, I do remember some of the funny stories. We got a lot of funny stories because I've known Congressman Coble from the beginning, and some of them we can tell you, some of them we're going to hold off to another show. But tell them the story about the first time you came to Lexington.
The one you and I mentioned earlier, yeah, that story plays well in Davidson County because it's a true story. My first election, and at the time I was dating a girl from Lexington, and we're still real good friends. And she called me one night and she said, "No one over here knows who you are." She said, "My daddy says if you want to put a yard sign in his front yard, you may do so." Well, her dad, Willie, was a Democrat and a physician whom everybody knew in Lexington. And here he's endorsing a Republican whom nobody knows. So I thought that sounded like a pretty good deal to me. So the next week I came over here and I went to my girlfriend's parents' home, and I had my Coble for Congress badge on my coat. And I remember this as if it were yesterday. I knocked on the door and a woman came to the door who was not my friend's mom. And I said to her, "Is Miss Hankins here?" She said, "Just a minute, just a second." And I heard her shout, "Miss Hankins, there's some guy out here from Coble Dairy collecting money." I mean, she had seen the Coble for Congress badge, and that equated to Coble Dairy.
All right, I got to ask you this. Did you take the money?
Didn't take the money, but I did put the yard sign in his yard. And you know, Willie, I know that was advantageous for me because everyone knew and respected that family, and it was on the way to the polling place. People had to go right in front of his house to go to the polling place to vote.
A strategic move.
Strategic move, and I fell into it, luckily.
25 years you've been falling into it.
Well,
Everybody
you,
appreciates the job you've done. Let me ask you, you have been in a position in Washington to see how people all over the country and other parts of the country, how they get along, what they do, and what they think of us here. Matter of fact, all over the world. And in your travels, and you regularly come back and talk to your constituents. You're traveling around here on this couple of breaks that you've got now, and we appreciate that. But let me ask you, how do other people do we have it as good as we think we have here?
That's a good question, Willie. A fair question, and I would answer it with one word: probably. We probably do have it as well as we think we do, because when you compare, granted, now the economic climate today is dismal. It will get better. Not tomorrow, and maybe not even this year, but it will improve, and we will overcome this. But when you look around you, Willie, it doesn't take long to see someone who's worse off than you are. It could always be worse. And I guess, Willie, the best barometer I have as far as sizing people up comes from my constituents who contact me. Now, there are going to be 7, 8, maybe 9% who are first-class horses' tails. Mm-hmm. You can't please them. I don't care what you do. You can give them $1,000 a day, and they're going to bitch about it.
They're going to say something.
That's the bad news.
Yep.
The good news is, Willie, that 90 to 92% of the folks are pretty good people. Even though they don't agree with my vote, they'll say, let's disagree agreeably.
Right.
And I think that pretty well portrays America. I think it portrays Davidson County, Lexington, and the United States.
Now, in your travels, in your position in Washington, you have been an outstanding representative of Lexington's primary resource, and that's barbecue.
Oh, boy, have I ever. We've all supported that, Willie.
Right now, also, You know, we have several different kinds of barbecue in our fine state of North Carolina. Do you ever have to take a stand on this Lexington versus the Eastern barbecue?
I took a stand 2 weeks ago in Washington. Somebody staked me out on that.
Uh-oh.
And I said, "Oh, that's easy. It's Lexington barbecue, hands down."
All right.
It was with a fellow member of Congress.
I got you. I appreciate that. See, we have an advocate in Washington in Howard Coble. Now, let me just say, we got to wrap it up here pretty soon. Number one,
Willie, before you wrap it up,
yeah.
as you know, I've lost most of Lexington. I still have about half of Davidson County,
Right.
but I have virtually nothing in Lexington. But I still count Lexington part of my district.
And that's why we're always glad to see you. We're
Thank you,
always
pal.
glad to see you. A couple of years ago, we were in the parade right behind you. You were the grand marshal of our Christmas parade, and folks are always here glad to see you. Like you say, 92% of the time, most people are right along with you. But you know, that's another thing I've always appreciated about you is that you're glad to talk to them. And that's another thing. Before we go, let's recommend that folks get involved. They have an opinion. You've got offices all over the district.
We do indeed, Willie. We have folks don't have to come to Washington. If they want to come to Washington, they're welcome to do so. But we have offices in High Point, which serves Thomasville and Denton.
Right.
That Davidson County portion that we have, Greensboro, of course, Graham, Asheboro, and Granite Quarry in Rowan County, and we have Moore County in our district, but we don't have an office in Moore County.
Right. Well, let me ask you this. When you come back to town, will you come see us again?
Will you serve us some of that Lexington barbecue?
If we buy you some barbecue, we'll go.
I'll be glad to, Willie.
Congressman Coble, it is always good to see you, and we'll see you at a ball game or a barbecue stand somewhere around.
Many thanks to you, Willie.
Thank you. And you keep watching. We have got some more exciting things, somebody else you need to know coming up right here on the front porch.
We'll have more coming up.